Hello, folks. Happy Friday to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. Welcome to this new session of Founder with RAKStars. If someone is joining for the first time, this is a community space where we share with passionate RAKStars and we talk about their hacks, their project, the other things they are doing, and also to talk about their job journey experiences. I am Maria Hernandez, Developer Relation Lead at RAK, and next to me, Jose Marcelino, our solution architect.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, and I'm here in Shenzhen today, virtually, right? With 10,000 hotspot miners on my background.
Those are the ones that we sent today?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. They are actually.
Nice. So yeah, in today's session, we're going to be chatting with a passionate tech entrepreneur dedicated to driving value data to solve real-world problems and create businesses. He is the CEO and founder of Datakick, a multi-purpose low-code IoT platforms that require no programming skills and minimal time to create IoT applications. Simon, welcome to the stage.
Welcome, Simon. Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to have you here. I'm super excited to talk a little bit more about all the cool things you have been doing during the last days, and also to share with the community the integration we have together as well. So as every week, if someone is doing the live session and have any question, feel free to ask, and we will jump in the question during the conversation if that is appropriate, or if not, we can leave it to the end where we have a Q&A session, okay? So just to start, break the ice, get you know a little bit better, can you share a little bit more about yourself, your background, your education, as well as how and when did you start tinkering with IoT technologies?
Yes. So lately I was a bit prepared, so I made some notes here, but I think I don't need them. So I can just go ahead and talk about that. So basically, I think that the most impressive fact that educationally I'm doing, or I was starting something completely different. So I studied music, by the way, so recording arts. So I was a recording artist behind the large mixing desk and so on. But also we have a family business, which is in the industrial sector. And because I grew up with software and computers, so I saw the internet grew up and I was, my first computer was a 286, and then I was playing some computer games. I was always into programming. And so there was a time when I was asked from that family business to care about Industry 4.0 and digitalization, which was in 2015. And that was basically also the start from, or for IoT. So I brought IoT into that company. And starting to tinker with hardware was also because of studying music back then. I saw the helmets from the band called Daft Punk with these LED-style helmets. So I bought myself an Arduino and small 8x8 LED matrices, which I tried to put into a helmet and build something like that myself. So I think it was one of the first Arduinos, which you need to connect via USB. And then I was super fascinated that I could write easy code on the Arduino and then have these LED matrices blinking and so on. That was basically the start of doing hardware, and then I tried to combine this with music and so on, and then later on I connected it to the internet, and then everything just flowed, and yeah, right now I'm sitting here. So
nice. Incredible. So you have tinkered with like MIDI projects?
Yes, also a lot. Yeah. I've built some basic step sequencer on an Arduino at that time, and it was super fun to interact with these devices then with all these synthesizers and so on. So I do have a little bit of experience with media.
So basically you are like a hardware tinker that they're just from the internet.
Yes, yeah, somehow, yeah.
Nice. And can you share like an overview about Datakick and what was like that particular gap that you noticed like in the ecosystem that you were trying to fill in with this company that you mentioned that you have with your family?
Yeah, it's the Kemper company, so it's called. They are producing welding fume extraction machines. And my brother is the one who's right now the CEO of that company. And at that time, I was responsible for the research and development. And in 2015, everybody here in Germany was talking about Industry 4.0. And suddenly it just was there and everybody wanted to do something with that. And we had a problem at that time already, which was like, there were so many devices out there and we wanted to get data back from these devices to optimize the service, to see what's going on with these devices. So we can then say, okay, it needs some repairment or whatever. But also we wanted to give the customer access to these machines and then see from like a monitoring room what's going on with these machines. And then we're looking on the market and see some kind of technology from Siemens or from other manufacturers, which was super expensive and super complicated to program. So we needed to find something that we could use and easily bring into these machines, also to make it simple for the ones that are building the machines. They shouldn't be into programming at all. And so we were also looking on the market for a platform that we could use for both the company usage, but also for the customers, that they have easy access. So like a fleet management tool with a dashboarding tool. We couldn't find that what we were looking for. And also we wanted to introduce this to the distributional partners, that they can use it as well. And then we decided to build this. And that was basically the start of Datakick. But at that time it was a little bit more closed. But we always had the vision to take this to different customers. And because of everybody was talking about that, we decided to actually turn this into a company, which was Datakick, and then start with the platform and then roll it out. And that was basically the beginning of Datakick.
Nice. And when do you launch like the platform itself?
Well, we always try to introduce the platform to our internet community, but at that time it was a little bit more closed because we had a PLC controller which was used with Datakick, so people needed that PLC controller to get data into it. We heavily jumped on the content marketing train when the COVID crisis came, because at that time we were rethinking how we would do our sales. Before it was just like traditional sales, like calling someone or going to someone, and that wasn't possible anymore except for calling, but I'm not such a super fan of calling someone. So we decided to go all into content marketing. We jumped on the LoRaWAN train because what we saw was that everybody was talking about LoRaWAN and it became more and more popular. So we opened up the platform for external hardware. We introduced the LoRaWAN section in 2020, and that was basically also the introduction of Datakick to the public. So everything that you see now, when you use Datakick, was built in the last 1.5 years. So that was for us we always call that going public. Going public is maybe the wrong word, but for us it was like introducing Datakick to the public.
Nice. Super nice.
I've got a question. Like, sorry,
Sure.
Maria.
No,
So if you come from an industrial background, how did LoRa come about? Because industrial is usually wired protocols, right? RS485, Modbus, that kind of stuff. How did LoRa come about? I'm curious.
Yes. Well, you're right. Normally it's in that case. But what we wanted to do is we want to get data from these machines and display that on a platform where someone sitting in the remote service department could have access to the platform, to that machine. Mm-hmm. So we designed a module that can communicate via Modbus or simple analog input-outputs with the existing PLC controller on the machine. And then we are reading data out. And then we were using a cellular modem and then sending the data back to Datakick. That was basically how we started. There were controllers who read things out with Modbus, or there was this OPC UA protocol, pretty new, and MQTT and so on. But they all needed to be integrated into the customer's Wi-Fi or Ethernet. And we found out that especially in the industrial environment, we did some tests with a Raspberry Pi, just like a POC or an MVP, but we found out that customers actually have problems integrating third-party devices into their own Wi-Fi or Ethernet. So the problem was that the machine was there, and then it took like 4 weeks until it was finally integrated and then sending data back. So we stepped on cellular because of the LoRaWAN still isn't so dense here in Germany, but at the time there was no LoRaWAN at all. And then more and more people came and asking like, okay, there's this machine with cellular, can we also measure some temperature there? And then LoRaWAN makes more sense in that. But basically, that's the reason why we did it.
Oh, interesting. Good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So basically, like right now, like you are monitoring like the machine itself via cellular, but the environment around the manufacturing plant are being monitored via LoRaWAN, right?
Yeah, it changes because it depends on the use case or the company. So basically, they still sell, and these are also some of our other customers who do it like that. They build large scale machines, and then they incorporate like a cellular modem into that, and then they just send the machines, and then somebody registered, and it needs to be online when the power is plugged on. But because people got so interested in IoT and monitoring everything, they are asking us to monitor temperature or also particulate matter in some companies, CO2 levels and such things. So it doesn't make sense to have a SIM card for each of these sensors. Then it started that we needed a gateway, put it there, and then have many sensors around. And yeah, this is how it evolved.
And you're finding that LoRa works well in industrial spaces, better than Wi-Fi for sure, I guess.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say cellular works as well, but it doesn't make sense to have 20 sensors inside the factory and then SIM card in each of them. Yeah.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. Nice. And well, like the industry, like manufacturing, is like your main industry vertical, we can say, since you start with it, or you are also running applications in other verticals?
Yes, it has completely changed in 2020. It was before, it was like this industry, and this application was the main application on Datakick. But with opening Datakick up for everybody and using LoRaWAN so easy on Datakick, we see many verticals. And there's customers who actually have like industrial machines as well. They also use Raspberry Pis and hook them up via Ethernet or whatever. But also we see a lot of, or mostly LoRaWAN applications, like 80% right now. So the use cases have changed. It's industrial, it's CO2 monitoring is one of the main verticals that we have. But also there's like soil moisture sensoring, we see quite often, the greenhouses and so on. Yeah, and a lot of, I think, non-commercial, but like, private end users who have small sensors around their house and so on and want to have an easy dashboarding tool. So this is one of the coolest things. I also really love is that we are around the world and we're able to spread around the world and then meeting so many different peoples around the world with so many different use cases. But yeah, it started from the industrial sector and then we spread onto everything else.
Nice, super. And can you share like a little bit more about the platform itself, like the products, the different features it's offered, and the architecture you implement into the platform?
Yes, sure, of course. Let me just quickly share my screen here. Because I also created something for this especially.
I love that.
Yeah, I need just to.
Is it a live demo? We might have to do some black magic before we do a live demo.
I have a live demo, of course, but I also created, I'm not a huge fan of presentations, but in this case, I made a short overview. Nice. So you should be able to see a presentation right now, which says products and so on. Okay, well, so because you asked like the overview of the Datakick platform itself, basically Datakick has these device subscriptions. This is the core to everything. So we are not offering packages at the start. We are always counting or calculating the device. And we also offer 2 free devices for everyone, so everybody can sign up and then just test Datakick by using one of their free devices and go on very quickly and then, scale. We've got 3 different device types, but basically this one, the Plus plan, is all, still coming from the industrial part where you've got like a PLC controller with many, many data points, and the standard and light plan. We are going to change this a little bit, but also what we do with customers that scale, we always offer individual and volume pricing, and we have discounts for that available as well. And also the products basically are the device subscription, then our white label package, which binds the complete platform to your own domain and appearance and so on, which is also available for all multi-tenancy features and so on. And we've got a managed NodeRed service and a managed MQTT service. So this is basically the core of Datakick. And I could, of course, switch to a live demo right now. I'm not sure if you have any questions so far up until this.
No, like for right now, like you mentioned, like you have been like putting a lot of effort during this past 1.5 years, and I would like to know which are like the long-term goals and the upcoming projects that you are working on for the platform as well.
Yeah, sure. Right now, we're at we're just preparing Datacake 2.0. These are the long-term goals because we had quite a few, like larger growth through the last 1.5 years because of opening up, and then people came on board and so on. And we were happy to be able to acquire some large-scale customers, and then they gave us a lot of feedback. So what they need, what they do, and we were actually seeing what everybody's doing with Datakick, and we were seeing where it gets stuck. So basically, we are missing features like KPIs and things like autocorrelation between measurement values and so on. And also, we are still an IoT platform, which is everything is pretty manual. So it's okay that you can create a dashboard, and it's okay, and sometimes you want that to have a manual dashboard and so on. But if you're working with sensors, and there are people who are deploying hundreds or even thousands of sensors everywhere around the world, not just with Datakick, but I think IoT is just really taking off. So we need to build solutions to manage larger fleets. So this is right now the long-term thing that we are working on Datakick 2.0, where everything is more automated and more like an analytics platform, just not a simple IoT platform where you create a float variable to store a temperature. No, you want to store a temperature, and this is something that we want to do. These are the long-term goals. Also, we are preparing for additional growth, and we want to scale our verticals. So this is basically what we have in mind right now, and pretty busy with that.
Nice, super. And what about like RAKwireless? Like, when do you first hear about us?
I was seeing this question on the paper, and then I was trying to figure out when I first heard of that, because there are two events I remember. One of them is like I was looking for a LoRaWAN concentrator, and then the first thing that came up was this RAK concentrator, the one that's using the mini PCI Express card, I think. And it had the heatsink on top, which had a clever design, and it was looking beautifully. So that is the one that I remember. And I also remember the older gateway, the RAK 7258, I think. I think it's the Edge Gate #1, because I was looking for LoRaWAN gateways back in, I'm not sure, but I think it was the first time I heard about RAKwireless, and there's a distributor in Germany, and then I saw these devices. At that time, we didn't have any LoRaWAN integration on Datakick so far, but we were experimenting with LoRaWAN, and we were, of course, trying different gateways. And I really liked these gateways because there were a couple of gateways which are working and are super fine, but you needed to get into the terminal and then set some parameters. And RAKwireless had a super beautiful web interface, and that was what I was looking for. So yeah.
Cool.
Well, that is the one that is provided on the Edge line. Like, it's something important to highlight over here. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we offer both.
Yeah.
And did you start with the Things network then? Was it kind of the first network?
Yes, it was one of the first, because we wanted to get a share of that market, of the LoRaWAN market, and then we jumped on the Things network, and then it was the Things Industries with their TTI platform, which was introduced. Actually, we were on the last year, I think it was the last show, and actually the last trip I was on in Amsterdam, when they had the thing. And then right at that time, we started with LoRaWAN. But we were designing the platform in that case that simply every data that gets into the core backend, there are adapters, and we can switch these adapters. So we wrote one adapter for TTN, and then we just supplied different adapters. And the last one that we supplied was I think Helium was one of the last ones, but we started with TTN and then we got through all of this. So I think there are 7 or 8 LoRaWAN network servers supported for Datakick.
Wow, great.
Nice. And also, like as I can see in your site, not sure like right now, but like months ago, I noticed you have this WisGate Edge Lite, the first version, fully customized with your brand, right?
Yeah, the gateway isn't here anymore, but the stickers are still here. So.
Yeah, okay.
It's somewhere over there, and then I've got I've got some packages of the EdgeGate 2 lying here, and yeah, they're also somewhere around. So yeah, it was right. It was standing somewhere here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like right now, you are loving the version 2.
Yes, I did when I saw it the first time immediately because of the roundish design and the super small and the building quality. I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like there is a unit that it has a really affordable price for all the features that it brings, and the design itself is super nice. Also, like I really want to see the black one because like black is the new sexy. That's like people say. But yeah, like there's the opportunity to change color, be more customized, and also like all the features that it brings, and also including the WisDM platform. That is something that you have been tinkering with some of your clients, so you can share a little bit more about your experiences if you want right now or during the demo, as you prefer. But it's something that I would like to share with the community as well.
Yeah, of course, we can do it during the demo as well, because I've opened that up as a tab directly on my browser here. But basically, the WisDM, I was super fascinated when I was trying it out. And then Lucas, my co-founder, maybe he's watching, I'm not sure. He told me he would watch. So he was on, we have a Slack, a company Slack, and I was telling him, Lucas, look, they say that they have remote shell, and I was able to log into the device with that remote shell. And this was so fascinating because mostly gateways work and everything is fine, but there are some phases where you need to get access to that gateway. And it always happens that you need access to a gateway when you don't have the option to get access. So basically, this is always frustrating, and this is helping us. Right now, we are not so into doing just projects ourselves because we have the thing that we sell mostly is the software, so the Datakick platform. But we love to do projects, of course, also for marketing, but also for some smaller customers that are around here and ask us for some help. Then, of course, we do some projects, and then we need some kind of remote tool for that.
Yeah, but for this kind of project that you deploy, like you use ready-to-use devices and you just integrate, like you just work like a system integrator of this like ready-to-deploy hardware and then integrate it with your platform.
Yes, sure. This is what basically I'm done in the role of the system integrator. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And can you share a little bit more about the applications you have this deployed so far using RAK products?
Yes. So basically, we are using this in our own office, of course. So for testing, this is one of the use cases. We have one RAK gateway at an industrial customer. He is using a lot of temperature monitors to monitor temperature, climate, and also he is looking to invest into some energy monitors and so on. So it's a basic production plant, and he wants to get insights from his production, like temperature, energy consumption, and so on. We deployed 3 gateways because it's so big, and they have like a lot of metal structures in there. LoRaWAN gets everywhere, but it's better to have multiple gateways because then you can keep the sending rate down. Also, the other projects, which is also in the demo right in a few minutes, is the COVID monitoring for the vaccine center that we have here in our hometown. And they also have like this quick test station where they put you things in the nose, and they need some fridges there. So we put in some monitoring because they need a proof that everything is working. And we put RAKwireless gateways. Lucas has one as well. He's using this on his house. So he provides a basic open TTN or TTI community edition ThinkStack version 3 community edition to his hometown, and then they are making some things with neighbors and so on, I think. Yeah.
Nice. And like, what about Helium? Do you have like any miner?
Yes, actually, I have a Helium miner, but it's one of their miners. We got it very, very, very early, and I love the roundish design once more because it's also roundish and so on. I was constantly looking to get one of your new Helium miners, so maybe we will ramp this a little bit up. We saw that actually we are living in one of the blind spots of a Helium network, so there's potential still. But if you just like wait 2 days and then watch again, there are even more Helium hotspots. So it's really impressive how fast this thing is growing now.
Actually, you can like migrate one of your WisGate Edge Lite 2 as a light hotspot for Helium.
Yeah, for sure. Yes,
it doesn't mind though. So yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
yeah,
mind.
for sure.
Are you deep into mining? Are you generating a lot of Helium tokens? Or not yet?
No, I think I've seen what other people are doing, so I think I'm just like this. Yes. You can't see it, so
there's always someone making more. That's true.
Yes, that's always the case. But you must be super happy because you've got all these hotspot miners in your bag, so you can just fire them.
Yeah, I wish I would just turn them on all on my account.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice. So yeah, I think we can jump on the demo session and see more details about the platform itself and how everything works. Nice.
For sure. Share the screen. Yes. So, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, first of all, let's once more log out maybe, because then I can show you how everything starts. So basically, Datakick is like any other platform, a cloud-based platform. Signing up is free, so everybody can sign up. And when you sign up with your email address, and then you log in, and it brings you into a workspace, which is the workspaces are like multi-tenancy feature where you can create different things. This is one of my test accounts where I can do many things and have different workspaces. Like this one here is in my home. I've got some more for different projects. And this one is the actual project where we're also using the RAK gateways, which is the vaccine demo. And basically what we are doing with Datakick is that when we started with Datakick and we're in that industrial sector, the challenge was that the ones who are building these machines or integrating the IoT technology, they don't have any knowledge about IoT technology. And they want to simply just get their job done. And the customer in the end, he also hasn't got so much knowledge about IoT and programming. So we try to make it as simple as possible. And this is something that we've also integrated into how LoRaWAN works on Datakick. So basically, everything happens with these blue buttons here, and there it says Add Device, and you press on Add Device, and then you are required to choose a template. So in this case, we have different templates also for your devices in here. Users select those templates, and then they are going to select one of the LoRaWAN network servers that we support. And as you can see, we support downlinks as well for Helium, Lorio, and the Things network, ThinkStack, and so on. You choose this. Then you press next once more, and then you're required to put in like dev UI in the name. You can add multiple devices in here. And then, of course, just like quick check here, you're required to check to select a plan, and we support up to 3 devices, but also happy to provide a code for any special things and so on. And from there on, it brings you to the device. So in this case, we are using the Dragino LHT65. I can show you also some of these. I also made a Google Box to show you some of these photos here. And this is the Dragino which we are using in that particular application, and they are just standing some fridges. Right now, no COVID vaccine inside because they are very limited here in Germany, I think everywhere around the world. And we put this edge gateway here on top so that we can interfere with all these devices in here. When you add a device on Datakick, this brings you also into a preset. So basically, we just go through this setup dialog here, In this case, we were selecting the Arduino sensor, and this brought us directly to the template which created, by the way, I'm sorry for the German, but this is a German company, so they needed a German translation for everything. So basically, this brings you into the dashboard. So it starts with a simple dashboard, and if the data is already flowing using a webhook integration from Helium, or from, in this case, we are using the thing stack here to Datakick, the data is being displayed here directly in the charts. Users have the ability to redefine the dashboard. So that means we've got this drag and drop dashboard editor where you can redesign things and also change the appearance and so on. And you could, for example, add new widgets in here to create your device dashboard. Also for mobile, you can override this here as well. And then, this has to be somewhere here. Doesn't matter. I'll leave it like that, but just to show you what it does. And you have these two different layouts in here. So also what we've got is one feature for those who are more into development is that we've got the payload decoders on our side. This is needed to make Datacake compatible between all these different lower band networks servers. So the templates work everywhere, and we directly work with the raw bytes coming from the lower band network server, and then we store them here in our database section, where someone could, of course, enter a new field if he wants to, or just work with the template. This makes it pretty easy to start with like this dashboard in here. And then what we also did for this demo here is that, as you can see, let's go back to that one here. They are having the center here, and they have a monitor right at the start where they can see, okay, what's going on with these fridges. And we also printed, it's this one here, stickers on it with a QR code. And if you would scan this right now, this will bring you into one of the other features from Datakick, which is creating a global dashboard. And these global dashboards are overviews that you create manually for all the devices that you have in your workspace. And in here, we created a simple overview about all these fridges in here, so they can see the devices, also the 24-hour change in percentage, which is good to see what the fridges are doing. You also have an overview, which is interactive, and you can see some trends in here. They are not so special because in the fridge, it goes always up and down. And also here, you again got this mobile editor, and also we got the option to create this link in here, and which then the users can share to somebody. They don't need to be signed in, so I can take this right here and then drop it, and then it's going directly to the dashboard. And this is what we've done with the stickers that we've printed on the fridges.
Very cool. Super. Nice.
Yeah.
And do you have like also a widget for example, mapping tracking applications?
Yes, we do have. We have one in, let's take the Asset Tracker Club, which is a demo for a device from our friends at WisGate. They produce these note cards. And we've got a webinar 1 week ago, and so we made this. It's right now not online because it's standing somewhere. It was 4 hours ago, it was online. And in here, it seems like somebody is driving around with that. That's interesting because that's maybe the reason why it's gone. But basically, this is the mapping feature that we have. This is right now on a device, but we could, of course, create a global dashboard and then insert this map as well. And we could also see historical changes in here. Right now, it's not moving, but basically, if it would be moving around, you could see the location. And yeah, this is where I'm preset here, and then it would be moving around. This is the basic mapping features that we have. But these are some of the points that we see for Datacake 2.0, where basically we want to have a map in the sidebar where you click on that, you see a global large map, and then you see all your devices, because we think that an IoT sensor or a device always has a position. It's always somewhere. So we are making this to common data types. That's what we call it. And then people just press on the sidebar, there's a map, and then they see all their devices on a map. And we want to integrate different views on that. But basically, right now, it's also possible by using, like, if we go into this demo here, we could create a map simply by adding a widget like a map, and then we can see the positions of those sensors on a map.
Nice, nice. And like, okay, well, what suggestion will you give to those who are starting like with IoT projects, like from scratch, and they want to develop something like this that you are showing right now?
Yes. Yeah, I would. What I would recommend starting with that is basically that I would just think like going ahead and then get some sensors and some gateways and then start and just really go through it. So also we have these options to create existing a new product completely for the LoRaWAN section, where you can define your own product and then really start from scratch, and then designing your own payload decoders or working with your WisBlock devices, for example, and then you can also manually write the firmware and then get into Datakick and work on that as well.
Right now, the template that you have for RAK devices, it's just for the WisNode family, right?
Yes, it is. What we want to do is basically that we want to bring the WisBlock template as well. But it would be cooler if we would have like starting firmware as well. So that means that we would need to develop a payload decoder. But because it's freely programmable, there are maybe use cases where people try to use the WisBlock and they can't use it with our payload decoder. So it would be cool if we would have like a firmware as well, and then somebody could download the firmware and then it auto scans all the attached blocks and so on. This is the challenge right now, but yeah, there's some room for improvement. Also, I'm not so super fascinated about payload decoders because there are manufacturers who provide informations about how the payload is structured. They even share payload decoders, and the guys at Things Industries make a huge good work on bringing like a global repository where all devices are in. But there are also some manufacturers who really just provide some byte information. So we should maybe work on writing payload decoders easier. That's what I think, maybe. And that could help with the WisBlock section as well.
Over there. Nice, nice. And regarding, let's say, events and alerts, for example.
Yeah, you mean? I'm sorry?
For example, like events or alert notifications.
Yes, what we do have is a basic rule engine here. So in this case, what we could do, I can show you this directly on one of these devices here because we've set up some global rules, but we can use that. Also in here, we worked with requests coming from our customers. So they were pretty basic at the beginning. And so this is like an if this, then that style rule engine, which allows us, in this case, to select the device, which is the fridge #1, the field, which is the temperature. Also, if we want the real time, so the current value, or like an average over a time, or the minimum and maximum. So for example, if we set this to maximum from 1 hour ago up until now, this means, oh no, we don't need a time zone. This means that it will check for the maximum temperature within 1 hour. And if the maximum is above 8 degrees, or let's say 10 degrees, then it means that the temperature is at least above 10 degrees for at least 1 hour. And then we can define an option, like sending an email, sending an SMS, calling a webhook, or even sending a downlink to a different LoRaWAN device, but also to a device using MQTT or our API integration. So it's not just LoRaWAN. We can also send an MQTT message to different devices. And you could also, of course, call a custom webhook. And then we've got some templating language here with templates, with placeholders and measurements from those devices, which you can then use to define your custom payload headers. And yeah, you can also, let's maybe go to send an email. And we send this email to Simon just for test, just quickly through it. And this is the test rule. And we create that rule, and then it's there, and then it, yeah, just simply runs. And you can create multiple rules, and also for chaining actions that you have multiple devices inside one of those rules. Yeah.
Nice. Actually, we already addressed these questions from Thomas, which is
Yeah.
able to send notifications, email, or text messages if certain value is reached? Yeah, the answer is yes. And I have a question over here is that this rule can be set up like per workstation, or it can jump from all the workstations you have set up in an account?
Right now, it's the case that rules are bound to the workspace. That's also the reason why we have it here on the sidebar. The reason for that is that we have customers using this for industrial automation. That was still something from the beginning. And we decided to put that into the workspaces because they were having the problem that they were putting many rules on different devices. And then to find this, you need to really dig through it. So instead of searching all the rules, what we did is we put it into the workspaces. We have some ideas to move that to the devices as well, because of then you could create a template with a rule and then just ship that device to somewhere and the rule is already preset on that. So we have some ideas to even make it more easy, but that's secret information, but we are working on that.
We like secrets.
Yeah, I know. It was on the list here. So.
Nice. Okay, fine. And so basically, like, we can say that workspaces are like the application itself that you are creating. For example, if I am creating a soul moisture application, I'm going to create a workspace where I'm going to place all my soul moisture devices under that workstation and handle all the rules, dashboard configuration for that workspace, for example. Like something like the logic behind maybe the things network, the thing industry, where you have applications, inside the application you have multiple devices that you can set up. But in this case, you have like all the monitoring side, also analytics, because, well, this is something that we didn't cover over here, but these are the data that is being sent by the devices. But I think we can also handle mathematical formulas right here, right?
Yes, that's true. First of all, to the workspaces, that's absolutely correct. But people use workspaces in different things. They use it for like their master workspace where they've got all devices, then ship them out. Also, they're using it for their projects, like soil moisture project or whatever. And also, we got customers who have 3 workspaces because they have three different sites on their company, and they are using it to manage the different sites and so on. Okay. But yeah, well, Workspace is like an application, but it doesn't mean that it's just able to run one single application. You can have multiple sensors of different things in it, but it's like a separation. Okay. And also, members are basically inside Workspaces. We can invite them simply by providing an email and then applying some rights and roles. And members can, of course, be in multiple workspaces at the same time, but it's a separation. So workspace is like, yeah, the space, something like that. Okay. So super, it was correct how you mentioned it. So formulas, yes, you can do that. Also, in 2 different things, we've got always the option that someone could write an extensive formula directly in the payload decoder, because this is always being accessed when or executed when a message arrives. And what we do with payload decoders, they are a little bit more feature-rich than normal payload decoders because they have access to the database. That means you could grab messages from the database, values from the database, and then do calculations directly in the payload decoder. This is advanced things that you can do directly here. But mostly our customers, and especially industrial customers who are just wanting the machine to run and just trying to figure out some things and have no knowledge about programming, we got the option to create mapping fields. So these mapping fields are basically things where you can, like, let's say we scale something from 2 to 4 to 0 to 100. So it gives you like a linear scale. You can apply a factor and also a lookup table. This is one thing, but also what you can do is you can create a new field, and in here you can create a formula, and then you can say like we take battery multiplied by temperature. So we can try that, and it says, okay, no error detected, and we can also write some more things in here. It doesn't make any sense what I'm writing here, but basically just to show you how this works. So this is the basic formula section, and you can write in some different things. But once you click it on formula, these fields are no longer able to receive data from payload decoders or API calls, because of that would induce a deadlock, and we are not wanting this. So basically, once you make it a formula, it just is a virtual field which can then be calculated based on one of these things here.
Nice. And like the processing of this formula are like being like activated every time that a value is received.
Yes, one of the values. In this case, it's because of they are coming from a payload decoder. This means that they are pretty super quickly running into the system. You can see that in the debug section, where you can see, okay, this is what the decoder returned. There's no logging in, and this is what it recorded. And we did the formula based on battery and temperature. So in this case, it would mean that the formula would evaluate 2 times, but there's like a log in it, which makes sure that it's just run at one time, no matter how many variables you have in that formula.
Okay, nice. We have a question over here, and it is that, are there any data export options?
Yes, there are 2 different, or let's say 3 different options. We, of course, do have an extensive API, so also GraphQL API, where you can pull all the data from our database directly. This is also where the product slug and the serial number is being used. But there are easier ways. One of these is the history, where you can simply select, okay, give me the temperature for this day or for this week or for this month, and then you can see the data from that database. And then there's this Excel icon, which allows you to export it to Excel, CSV, JSON, and YAML, and so on. And you can select the resolution. So raw data is like what's coming in, goes out. And then you press on export, and then it runs the export in here. And then after a couple of seconds, it's available. Then you can click on that, and then you can download it. This is manual way, but what we also got, which is pretty new feature, it's like February 2021 or so, is a report section.
Nice.
And this report section is pretty cool because it allows you to create scattered reports. You press on Add Report. Right now, we're the type that we are having is the simple CSV, because that's what the customer needed, so we brought it. And let's call this report number 2. This runs every day, so it's like a cron job or something like that. Every day at 12 o'clock with different time zones. We create that report, and then we can define everything. So we want some email receivers, like send this to Simon. I need to delete it because I do this in every demo, and then right now at 12 o'clock I receive a flood of reports. And then we can define the devices that we want to have in these reports. And we can, if we don't supply a filter, it reports things of all 6 devices, but we could also select a tag in here. So we want devices of group A, which is just 1 device, or we want all of these devices here. And then we can say, okay, I want battery, I want temperature, and I also want humidity, or LoRaWAN, uplink RSSI, and then the time range, what the export should include. So 24 hours up until now. Also the resolution in here to quantize data based on 30 minutes, whatever. And then I could say, okay, I want individual files for all sensors or combined files. I press on save. I press on save, and then it runs every day for this 24 hours. But what I also could do, you can see here the next one is in 15 hours. I could run the report now. And then when I click on report number 2, on the bottom, I see, okay, these are the sensors here included, and I can download them. And it also just triggers an email, which I think I will receive in a couple of seconds. Yeah, there it is. And then there is the CSV file also embedded. Because we delete these here, we just store for a couple of days, but it's embedded into the emails, and then you can download it. So this is the basic and easy report section.
Nice. It's super nice to see that you already have that report section. It's like super important to automate things, like at the end of the month, to evaluate like all the data that has been captured from the devices. Super nice.
Yeah, this was actually a request from one of our largest customer, and he said that I need this reports engine and I need it in that way. So we just listened to him and then designed it how he wanted to have like that. plans for the future are that instead of just having CSV, we want to have different reporting types. We are also playing around with creating like a graphical report style and things like that. But basically right now it's possible to take this CSV and then import it into Excel and then do some custom calculations on top.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
It's great. I can see like if you measuring machine utilization in a factory, you'd want like a monthly report or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That would
exactly.
be super simple to generate. Very nice.
Yes.
And in some way, like, because you already have like the graphics, because you have the dashboard in some way. So maybe you can like capture like the graphic itself and place it into the report. Like, yeah.
That's secret, Maria. That's version 3.
Version 3.
No, it maybe is 2.1, so something like that. So
No, but
or 2.2.
Something that I like a lot, it is that you have also the option to download the data export using JSON files. So that is a really good thing. Like normally is just for CSV files, and this is a really good thing to manipulate data for further like analysis. It's super nice.
Yes. And what we also got is, of course, the our REST API. One second. And we've got this GraphQL API. And this GraphQL API, oh, 1 second, we need to access this in here. And this, for example, allows you to create queries. And we've got this built-in documentation here. And I can measure and measurements, and this allows you to create like custom report, and it reports back as a JSON file. So this works as well. So there are these 3 ways to get data out of here. So
and how long do you store the data for? Is it still from when the person created the account? Do you store it forever?
That depends on what device type the device is in, so on the device plan. So basically the free plan stores it for 1 week. We are limiting that because that's what causes costs on our side, is the storage of data. And then we have some different plans like 1 month, 6 months, or 12 months. But this is once more just an orientation. We found out that at the time when we were thinking of what should we how should we design the plans? How long should we save data and so on? It is super hard to find like the middle thing for all these use cases. Every use case is different, and even every sensor is different. So basically, when someone scales to a higher amount of sensors, we're every time in personal communication with them and ask them, what kind of data do you store? How long do you want to store? What do you need? And then we do a custom pricing plan and also storage plan. So we can even save that for 2 years, if that makes sense, or 3 years or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because there are like some cases that maybe they just need like a monthly report, and now they can use like the report feature. But other ones that need to analyze, let's say, analyze all the data directly on the platform, and it's not just the data for 1 month, maybe for 1 year or 3 years, as you mentioned. That directly depends on the solution they are working on.
Exactly. And last but not least, there's also the option that I can show you this on my home workspace. I've got plenty of different stuff in here and experiments and so on. But we do have a thing called RAKwireless, which is hosted and cloud managed NodeRed. I think everybody knows what NodeRed is, so I'm not going to dig too much into that. But we've got these Datakick nodes in here. And they are also available open source, so you can install them into any NodeRed. And what they do is simply they access devices on Datakick. Like this one here, you can select that, and it forwards MQTT messages. I'm also doing this here via MQTT directly, and this is another option that we have. So we have customers who are not interested in saving the data for such a long time on Datakick. What they do is that, let's go back to the vaccine demo in here. So if we got one of these fridges here, and in the configuration, you can see this MQTT icon here. And all the data that's being running through our integrations, payload decoders, and customizations, and also the formulas and so on, they are forwarded using an MQTT topic automatically. That means that you can subscribe to this. We've got a member section into which you can create API users, and then you have a token, especially for a group of devices or just for that device, and then you can subscribe to our MQTT broker. And every time there's a new message, you receive normalized data from our MQTT broker. And there are customers using that to bring data from LoRaWAN devices super easy into their large-scale processing systems, which they use internally into their customers, companies, intranet. Yeah.
Nice. And can I like pre-install other nodes into that module, the Cake Red module? For example, if I create a NodeRed module and I want to add it over here, can I just import it as I do it in NodeRed?
Yes, it is. You can, because it's basically a non-restricted, non-limited NodeRed. We also spin up a custom server on that. We've got a firewall before that, so not all ports are opened up, but the UI, for example, is opened up, so you could create a UI template on here as well. And it's completely extensible. Sorry once more for the German language. Maybe that should do it, but no, it doesn't. So you can, where was it? You can extend this basically by any third-party extension. And if you have like a local NodeRed and you designed some nodes or some flows, you can, of course, import them here. We have a gateway monitoring. We designed it, prototyped it in NodeRed, and then brought this into code, for example. And we were also simply running some things in here and then, have it like there and then import it into Datacake from there on.
Super. That is really cool. Like this open a lot of doors for companies to export the data, handle with other systems, and also to generate, for example, alerts. You can here send, for example, Twitter posts, like tweets from the data. If you have a plan and you want your plan to talk, you can just set up a node for Twitter that says when your plan needs a little bit of water. That is
for example, you could also use in that case the rule engine, and then you use a webhook that sends to Twitter, but you could use that NodeRed, and you can use your custom own NodeRed and then have this. But we see that, for example, you can also use some industrial things in here. But what we also see is that there are more industrial PLC controllers having NodeRed integrated into their PLC controllers, and then you can install these Datacake nodes, which are then being posted here on that flow, and then you can forward data directly into your workspaces on Datacake. When I see this here, you can see that, and then forward data to that. But the idea behind that was that when we were still super young with that platform, there were customers having so many custom requests, and we started bringing that into the code base. And this at some point turned out that we forgot what we were doing there, and we weren't able to scale that. So we came up with the idea of bringing a cloud-hosted NodeRed that's directly bound here into the workspace, so you can access that from the sidebar, and then have this view. And as you can see, it runs on the Cake Red domain, so you can access this. And there's some extra security in before, because we're when you click on that, let's go here once more. It creates a so-called JSON web token. And this makes it, it auto signs on, but it's still super secure. Nobody else can access that.
Nice. Super. And are we missing any of the feature of the platform?
I'm sorry?
Are we missing any other?
A lot.
There are many things. Like from the last time, I think
I feel so.
There are a lot of improvement. It's really nice to see all.
Yes, Lucas, our co-founder, he is the one who is responsible for the development, and I'm mostly concentrating on sales and marketing and tinkering around with the platform. But he is really a genius in bringing new features and functionalities. So we have this strong vision, and we try to push it as fast as we can. One thing that I would like to mention is maybe how the white label thing works, because that's something that really is super easy. And you get this setup domain where you just simply upload a logo and you upload your own terms of service. And if you want to allow users to sign up on your white label, and then on domain, you connect your third-party domain and we verify the DNS settings and so on. And you set your email inboxes for your white label. You can choose the device types which your users are able to use on your white label. Also the capabilities, you can switch them off. And our API is completely white labeled. And if you go through all this, you can then just simply open this up. And then it's on your white label with your logo. And if you have a global dashboard in here, this basically, there's no Datakick branding anymore. This is one of the most prominent features. And we are going to extend this by a couple of new functionalities, like more branding options, more inside options, and so on. Yeah.
And this branding option is just available for the paid plans, right?
Yes, this is a separate plan. So there is the white label package when you buy that, which is 49 euros per month, which is, I'm not sure about the dollar course right now, but something like $55 or $60 per month. It's available. So basically it turns the whole front end to your domain. So that means the multi-tenancy feature remains, the workspace feature remains. We don't limit the number of members signed on because they don't create any costs. So basically we allow ultimate or unlimited members. So this all remains. So basically it's just hosting the front end on your domain and not just like one tenant, which is white labeled, but it's all tenants are still white labeled. So as you can see here on the asset tracker white label, when we log in on the Asset Tracker Club. That was, by the way, the demo for the node card. We can still have this multi-tenancy in here. Also, yeah, go through these and then invite different members in here. And this remains all, it's just the white label add-on that you can sign up to your own domain.
So it's a private data cake, basically, for yours.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Almost. Yeah. It's a private data cake. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Running on a shared server, right? Still running on a shared server.
Yes, it's still running on a shared server. We are cloud focused right now because that makes it easier for development. So we are faster with that. Something like on-premise installations or share different dedicated servers. It is possible, but it would also mean that we would have more support for everything. And right now we have some discussions with that, but basically, I think the cloud is something that more and more people get used to, and yeah, it brings a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Some companies don't like it yet, but they're changing as well. Yeah. So who knows?
Yes, and we tell them if they don't want it, it's okay. Then we maybe meet in a year or so.
In a year or so, indeed. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Super. So we're like now running out of the time of the session. But it's one thing that I wanted to share as well before finishing it. It is like the WisDM side and how you are like managing from your side. It is something that you can show us.
Yes, I can, because I've just this. Let's see. The only thing is, it logged me out, but basically let's log in. So there's not so much on it because all the previous devices, oh, by the way, just really quick, that was the one you were mentioning about with the older WisGate gateway with the sticker on it. And we've had this this is the industrial applications where we've got the temperature monitoring. And we are planning to move them as well into the WisDM, but we need to access them. Right now we have 2 different locations in here, and we use this also for the COVID monitoring situations. So use case. So this is one of the gateways that we have there. And basically what we're super interested in is, or what was super cool was that I could completely orchestrate that gateway using these locations. So I set up like a location, and in that location, I set the network configuration, which I normally do on the web interface, which is okay when you provision that gateway the first time, but then you just want to ship that out. And if the customer has a change or something needs to be changed in here, you can directly do it in the WisDM. This is a huge benefit. Also, what I was super impressed is that we got SHA access, so we can spin up a terminal, and this is now standing remotely, and we can present that. We could just log into that and install something or do some deep diagnostics. And gateways, as I've said at the beginning, they are mostly running all of the time, but they are things that happen, maybe due to the customer dropping the internet connectivity and then bringing back on, and something needs to realign, or a network server is changing. Like, for example, the change from the TTN to the ThinkStack Community Edition. These are the things that help, that you don't need to get there and drive there and set up everything. So yeah, I was super happy to see that. And I think I saw an email and then I signed up for testing it immediately because I wanted to know how good this is. And it really is. And we're using this more and more. And for all these, as I've said, right now, we're focusing on the platform and selling that, and are not the system integrator. But if we are, we take these RAK gateways and then use the WisDM for that.
Amazing. Actually, we have a comment over here from Mark. Like, WisDM is great for migrate your gateway from V2 to V3, just in a few minutes.
Yeah. In the future, maybe to Helium as well. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's already possible, because you can just, the soft Helium integration just for the network server, it's just, I'm not sure, but it's just like also this UDP or whatever they are using URL that you need to set. I think this should work already.
Yeah, actually, yeah, with the SSH you can install it remotely. That's true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice, super. I think like we can conclude with today's session. We are already out of the time, but just to conclude with the session, there is any message you would like to share with our community of entrepreneurs, makers, and engineers?
Yeah, I was reading that question on the, gladly you sent me that paper. And I was thinking of, wow, that was the only question which I couldn't answer directly because of there, I think during the journey that we had from the beginning to where we are right now, and also during through that COVID scene crisis, was like, there are so many things that we've learned, but basically what brought us here is that we've listened to the market and that we just we did our thing. So basically we're super interested in technology and also into making things and helping people by using new kinds of technologies. So one of the things that I learned is that I'm listening to the market and to what customers tell me, that what they have, what problems they have, and I try to fix it with the things that I mostly like, which is technology. And it takes some time to build something that is becoming successful. So I would always say just keep on going and continue. So this is what we are doing.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that message with us. So, well, Simon, thank you so much for taking the time today to share with us all your experiences, as well as demonstrating a little bit more about Datakick, the different use cases you are working on, as well as how we can integrate it with RAK products, and also the overview about the WisDM platform. We jump another question over here, but this is not directly related to the conversation. So you could install Helium RF through WisDM on the gateway, Jose?
Yeah, well, actually, you can. Yeah, you can now already from using the Lite hotspot package. Not the miner yet. Just be aware. I mean, not yet.
Yeah, exactly. So just to cover that questions before I leave the session. So yeah, thank you so much, Simon.
No, I have to say thank you. So
no,
Thanks,
it is
Simon.
a pleasure to finally have this chat with you. We have planned it for a couple of weeks ago. And also thanks to anyone who connects today, all of those who ask questions. If anyone have any additional question, if someone is watching this video later, feel free to reach out to us through the comment section or via our Discord channel, and we were super happy to help you in anything you need regarding Datakick or RAK products as well. So I don't know, Jose, if you want to add something else before finish?
Yeah, make sure to go to Datakick, sign up, try the two devices, and have fun, really.
Nice. Nice. And if you need more stuff, just reach out to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, guys. Hi, nice to see you, and happy hacking, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.